Picture this. The wind is howling like a banshee outside your window, the kind of cold that makes your teeth ache just thinking about it. You just heard that ominous winter storm warning siren on your phone, and you glance out to see the first heavy flakes starting to fall. You know the drill, right? You head to the grocery store, and what do you find? Shelves already picked clean, like a flock of hungry locusts just passed through. And the forecast? It's saying the temperature is about to plummet overnight, dropping faster than a lead balloon. Now, here's the brutal truth. If the power dies tomorrow morning, and let's be honest, in a storm like this, it very well might. Which neighbor are you going to be? Are you the one who's calm, cool, and comfortable, sipping a hot drink, maybe even enjoying the quiet? Or are you the one wrapped in every parka you own, fumbling around in the dark for a flickering candle, praying to whatever deity will listen that the pharmacy opens before your insulin runs out? Number 1. Non-perishable food. Alright, item number 1 on every single preparedness list worth its salt, and for a very good reason: food. Specifically, non-perishable food you can open and eat with zero electricity. This isn't just about having any food, it's about having the right food. Here's the thing. As we get older, our caloric needs might decrease, but our need for quality nutrition per bite actually goes up. We need fuel that's efficient and easy on our systems. So, when you're stocking up, think protein, think fiber, and think low sodium. Forget about those giant bags of dried beans unless you have a way to cook them and boil water for hours. That's not practical in a blackout. Instead, grab pull-top cans of tuna, salmon, or chicken. These are absolute superstars. They're packed with protein, require no cooking, and the pull-top means no wrestling with a can opener when your hands are cold or stiff. Speaking of which, don't forget the single-serve fruit cups packed in juice, not heavy syrup. They provide a quick energy boost and some much-needed vitamins. Peanut butter packets are fantastic, high in protein and healthy fats, and they store forever. And for hydration and a bit of calcium, shelf-stable milk cartons are a lifesaver. These aren't the kind you find in the dairy aisle. They're the UHT, ultra-high temperature, treated ones that sit happily in your pantry for months. When you're calculating quantities, here's my rule of thumb. And I learned this the hard way during that 4-day outage back in '08. Aim for 3 full days per person, at a bare minimum. Then, and this is critical, add 3 extra days. Why? Because storms, much like unwelcome guests, love to overstay their welcome. What starts as a 48-hour event can quickly stretch into a week. So, for a single senior, that's 6 days of food. Don't skimp here. Number 2. Bottled water and purification tablets. Water. It's the most boring thing in the world until it's gone. Then, suddenly, it's all you can think about. And in a winter blackout, water can become a critical issue for several reasons. Pipes can freeze and burst, municipal water systems can lose pressure, or treatment plants can go offline. So, having a backup supply isn't just smart, it's non-negotiable. Here's the rule of thumb, and this is a standard for a reason. 1 gallon of water per person per day, minimum 3 days. That's for drinking, basic hygiene, and maybe a little bit of food preparation. For a single senior, that's 3 gallons. But let me tell you, that's really the bare minimum for survival. I like to double that, just like with food, aiming for 6 days. What if the outage stretches? What if you need to wash a wound? What if you spill something? It's better to have too much than too little. And if you have a cat or a dog, which many of us do, because they're family, don't forget them. Add at least a cup of water per meal for them too. They rely on you for everything. Now, lifting those heavy gallon jugs can be a real challenge, especially if you have back issues or limited strength. That's why I buy the 2.5 gallon jugs, the ones with the little spigot on the side. They're much easier to lift, and that spigot makes pouring into a glass a breeze without all the sloshing and potential spills. You can set it on the edge of a counter and just fill your cup. It's a small design feature, but it makes a world of difference. But here's a bonus layer of protection that weighs nothing, costs about $6, and could save your bacon. A strip of water purification tablets. These little heroes are for those just-in-case scenarios. What if the outage lasts longer than your stored jugs? What if your pipes burst and you need water from the toilet tank, after turning off the main supply, of course, and before flushing? Or, heaven forbid, you need to collect rainwater or melt snow. These tablets turn questionable water into something your stomach won't regret. They're tiny, individually sealed, and have an incredibly long shelf life. Just toss a pack into your emergency kit. Number 3, extra prescription medications. Okay, let's talk about something that can spike your blood pressure faster than a surprise tax bill. Realizing you have 2 pills left of a critical medication, and outside, the roads are glazed ice, making any trip to the pharmacy impossible. That's a nightmare scenario, and it's one we absolutely need to avoid. Your prescription medications are not just items, they are lifelines. During a winter blackout, pharmacies might be closed, roads impassable, or even if they are open, getting there safely could be a huge risk. This is why having an emergency supply is paramount. Here's what you need to do. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist. Explain that you're building a disaster preparedness kit and need a 7-day emergency supply of your essential medications. Most insurance companies, believe it or not, will approve this once a year if you specifically cite disaster preparedness as the reason. It's a common and legitimate request, so don't be shy about asking. It's about your health and safety. When you get that extra supply, keep the pills in their original bottles. Why? Because those bottles have all the critical information: the medication name, the dosage, the prescribing doctor, and the pharmacy's contact info. This keeps dosing crystal clear, especially if you have multiple medications or if someone else needs to help you administer them. Don't just throw them all into a pill organizer for your emergency kit. Keep them separate and clearly identifiable. On that note, create a printed list, yes, a physical piece of paper, of every medication you take, its dosage, and the prescribing doctor's name and phone number. Store this list inside a zipper bag right alongside your emergency meds. If you have to evacuate, or if emergency personnel need to assist you, this list is invaluable. It speaks for you when you might not be able to. Number 4. Flashlights, lanterns, or extra batteries. Candles. Oh, they're so romantic, aren't they? Flickering flames, soft glow, right up until they set the curtains on fire or you knock one over in the dark. In a blackout, candles are a fire hazard waiting to happen, especially for seniors who might have mobility issues or impaired vision. Let's ditch romance for safety and practicality. What you need are LED flashlights and lanterns. These aren't your grandpa's old, heavy yellow light flashlights. Modern LED technology means they're cheaper, safer, and last 10 times longer on a set of batteries. Plus, the light is usually brighter and whiter, making it easier to see. My advice? Place a small, easily accessible flashlight in every single room. Think bedside table, bathroom vanity, kitchen drawer, living room end table. That way, no matter where you are when the lights go out, you're not stumbling around in total darkness. You have immediate access to light. I'm particularly fond of the lanterns that collapse. You know the ones, they pull up to turn on and push down to turn off. They're compact for storage, but when expanded, they're bright enough to light up an entire bathroom. This is crucial for steadying yourself on a grab bar, navigating to the toilet, or just generally moving around safely when visibility is compromised. They provide ambient light, which is less jarring than a direct flashlight beam, especially if you wake up disoriented in the middle of the night. Now for power. Batteries. Buy alkaline batteries in bulk. The expiration dates on good quality alkaline batteries are commonly 5 years out these days, sometimes even 10. So, you can stock up without worrying about them going bad next month. And here's a memory trigger that works for me and so many others. Change your emergency batteries when the clocks hop for daylight saving time. When you spring forward or fall back, that's your cue to check and replace batteries in your smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, and yes, your emergency flashlights and lanterns. It's an easy, built-in reminder. Number 5. Battery or hand crank radio. Okay, let's talk about communication. Your trusty smartphone? It's a wonderful device, absolutely essential in daily life. But here's the brutal truth in a long-term blackout. That phone battery will croak long before the outage ends. And once it's dead, you're cut off. No news, no weather updates, no emergency instructions. That's a recipe for feeling isolated and vulnerable. This is where a simple, old-school technology becomes your best friend. A battery-powered, or even better, a hand-crank radio. While your phone is a silent brick, the local emergency station will keep yapping, delivering vital information. A palm-sized hand crank radio is an absolute must-have. It doesn't rely on the grid, and it doesn't need to be charged from an outlet. These little marvels give you weather alerts, crucial for knowing if the storm is worsening or if help is on the way, plus, and this is often overlooked, morale-boosting music or human voices. In the quiet of a blackout, hearing another voice, even from a radio, can do wonders for your spirits. Most models are incredibly efficient. 10 seconds of cranking usually buys you about an hour of play. That means you can conserve your energy, get quick updates, and then crank it again when you need more information. You don't have to sit there cranking constantly. Tune it to NOAA weather radio if your area has it. That's the gold standard for emergency weather information. If not, any AM station that carries local county bulletins will do. Local stations are often the first to provide information specific to your area regarding power restoration, warming shelters, or road closures. And here's a pro tip I learned from personal experience. Keep the instructions taped to the back of the radio. Seriously. No one, and I mean no one, remembers complex button combos at 3 a.m. when they're half asleep, cold, and possibly wearing mittens. A simple instruction sheet taped right to the device ensures you can get it working quickly and efficiently when you need it most. This isn't about being technologically savvy, it's about being prepared for basic information access when everything else fails. A hand crank radio is a small investment for a massive return in peace of mind and vital information. Number 6. Warm blankets or sleeping bags. Alright, let's talk about staying warm, because this is where winter blackouts can become truly dangerous, especially for seniors. Hypothermia isn't just an extreme cold thing, it can start when your body temperature drops to just 95 degrees Fahrenheit. And here's the critical part. Seniors feel the effects of cold sooner and are more susceptible because our bodies don't shiver as efficiently to generate heat. Our internal thermostats just aren't as robust as they once were. So, when the heat goes out, layering is not just a suggestion, it's your best friend, your primary defense. Think of it like building an onion. Many thin layers are better than one thick one. Start with thermal underwear, the kind that wicks away moisture. Then add fleece pajamas, which are incredibly warm and cozy. Top that with a good wool blanket. Wool retains heat, even if it gets a little damp. And finally, if you can, a sleeping bag rated for 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Even if you're not sleeping in it, wrapping yourself in one during the day can be a game changer for retaining body heat. Here's a little trick that I swear by. I tuck 2 single-use body warmers inside my socks. You know, those little packets you shake to activate? They last 10 hours or more and keep your toes delightfully toasty. Cold feet can make your whole body feel miserable, and keeping them warm is a simple, effective way to boost your overall comfort and core temperature. Keep a box of these in your kit. They're inexpensive and incredibly effective. Now, if you're lucky enough to have an electric blanket, that's great, until the grid dies. The moment the power goes out, it's just a regular blanket. So, you absolutely must have those non-electric backups ready to go. Don't rely solely on something that needs electricity during a blackout. And one final, often overlooked but incredibly powerful tip: wear a hat indoors. Seriously. Even a simple beanie. Your scalp is a major radiator of heat. They say a hat indoors is worth 2 blankets, and it's true. Heat escapes through the scalp faster than a grandkid can text "I'm fine" while you're worrying about them. So, keep that head covered. It's a simple, effective way to conserve precious body heat and keep your core temperature up. Number 7. First aid kit. In an emergency, even minor crises can feel major. Imagine this. You slip on the ice trying to get to the outhouse, or you nick yourself trying to open a stubborn can, or worse, you battle a stomach flu when help is snowed in and roads are impassable. Without basic supplies, these small incidents can quickly escalate. That's why a well-stocked first aid kit is non-negotiable. Don't just grab a tiny travel kit. You need something comprehensive. This means bandages of various sizes, antiseptic wipes, pain relievers, anti-diarrhea medication, antacids, and any specific items you know you might need. If you have prescription wound care items, maybe for a chronic condition or a previous injury, make sure you have at least a week's worth of those too. This covers the usual suspects and then some. But let's expand beyond the standard first aid. Add a box of nitrile gloves. These are crucial for maintaining hygiene when treating wounds or assisting someone who is ill, especially when water might be scarce. They protect both the caregiver and the patient. And here's a trick I picked up from a wilderness first aid course: a small tube of super glue. Yes, super glue. It works remarkably well for sealing small, shallow cuts that aren't bleeding profusely. It creates a quick, protective barrier and can hold the skin together until you can get proper medical attention, if needed. Just be careful not to glue your fingers together. Now, for hygiene. This is often overlooked, but maintaining personal hygiene is vital for morale and preventing illness, especially in a prolonged outage. Stock a week's worth of hygiene must-haves. Adult wipes are excellent for sponge baths when running water isn't available. A toothbrush and a small tube of toothpaste are non-negotiable. Deodorant, because comfort matters. And, if you use them, any incontinence products you rely on. Don't forget these. Comfort and dignity are just as important as food and water. Ladies, here's a bonus tip. Throw in extra panty liners. They double as surprisingly effective lightweight bandages for minor cuts or abrasions in a pinch. They're absorbent and adhere well. It's about being resourceful with what you have. Number 8. Backup power source. Alright, we've arrived at the big, scary item for many. Power. The idea of losing electricity for days on end can be incredibly daunting, especially for seniors who might rely on powered medical equipment or simply need to charge a phone to stay connected. Now, let's be clear. I'm not talking about that 20,000-watt whole house unit that requires a professional installation and a second mortgage. That's not what we're aiming for here. For seniors, the focus should be on tiny, safe, and most importantly, plug-and-play backup power. We want something that's easy to manage, doesn't require a degree in electrical engineering, and can handle your critical needs. My top recommendation? A 300-watt lithium power bank. These are absolute game changers. They weigh around 6 pounds, manageable for most, and cost about $250, which, while an investment, is far less than a full generator and much safer. What can one of these do? It can run a CPAP machine for 2 nights, which is vital for many. Or, it can charge your smartphone 10 times over, keeping you connected for days. They usually have multiple outlets, USB ports, AC outlets, so you can power various devices. Recharging these power banks is also incredibly flexible. You can charge it from your car lighter, which means you can get power even if the grid is down. Or, for true off-grid independence, invest in a $50 folding solar panel. You can set it on your balcony or near a sunny window, and it will slowly but surely recharge your power bank. This gives you a sustainable power source for extended outages. Now, for those who rely on oxygen concentrators or other life-sustaining medical equipment, this is absolutely critical. You need to register that gear with your utility company. Most states have programs that will tag you as priority restoration if you have medical equipment that requires electricity. They'll often give you a special 1-800 number to report outages directly, potentially getting you on a faster track for power restoration. Do not assume they know, you have to tell them. This isn't a luxury, it's a necessity for your safety. A word of caution regarding any generator, even small ones, or if a neighbor offers to share a larger one, run them outdoors only. And I mean at least 20 feet from any windows, doors, or vents. And never, ever, ever in the garage, even with the door open. Carbon monoxide is colorless, odorless, and it kills faster and more silently than the cold. It's a silent killer, and every year, people tragically die because they don't respect it. Safety first, always. This backup power is about empowering you, not endangering you. Now, I know we've covered a lot of ground here, and it can feel like a lot to remember. So, how about this? Want a printable checklist of everything we've covered today? A handy PDF you can print out and stick on your fridge or in your emergency binder? Look, I get it. Winter blackouts are scary. The thought of being without heat, light, and communication when it's freezing outside is enough to make anyone anxious. But here's the thing, and this is the core message I want you to take away. They're also predictable. Storms announce themselves, often days ahead of time. You get warnings, you get time to prepare. With these 8 simple, no-nonsense items, things you can often pick up on a single Walmart run, or even just order online, you can trade that paralyzing panic for quiet confidence. It's not about being a doomsday prepper, it's about being a smart, self-reliant senior. Store the gear, Rotate your water and batteries once a year, maybe with that daylight saving time trick, and you'll be set. You'll stay warm, you'll stay fed, your medications will be secure, and you'll stay informed, no matter how long those linemen take to get the power back on. I'm not just talking theory here. I've survived 5 major outages in the last decade alone, and every single time, it was because of the supplies and strategies we talked about today. You can do this too. You have the wisdom, you have the capability, and now you have the plan. Stay safe, stay cozy, and I'll see you in the next video, where we'll continue to build that peace of mind, one practical step at a time.